Hello everyone, DNA here. So I'm gonna be making another tutorial. This one will be for the new API feature that I put into NetCheat PS3. Although with this feature, I guess it could be just NetCheat now. So the first thing you're gonna want to do is go into your NetCheat directory, and then you'll find this folder, and you're gonna want to install this. So I already have it installed. It'll tell me that, and let's see. Yeah, so once you install this, make sure to restart any open Visual Studio uh, program you have so that it can show up. And then you can also, you don't need to have the NetCheat, um, you don't need to have the NetCheat solution open to do this. Uh, but if you want to debug it, you do, which is why I'm gonna be trying to work on updating the GitHub source so people can do this as I do it. But right now the source code is disgusting. Like the files are very messy. So we're gonna add a new project. You would probably create a new solution, and you'll go under Visual Studio and you'll set the framework to 3.5. This is really important. NetCheat runs on 3.5. If you have anything above 3.5, it will error. Um, Actually, yeah, it will error. So I'm gonna make a PC one, which you'll already see in here, but that's just because I kind of made it, and then I made it behind the scenes just so that I wouldn't have to do it right now. So name it whatever you want. I call it this just with the dash NCAPI because it's easier for me. So we'll add that, and then right here you'll have the basic API layout. So if you've ever made a plugin, it's very similar to this. You just create the name, so PC API description, NetCheat API for your PC. My name or alias, so I go by my alias. So you don't have to you don't have to abbreviate it, but because this goes on the title bar of NetCheat, so let's see, it goes right here. It says NetCheat, and then in my case it'll be PC because that's what I'm going to be naming it. It's preferred that you do because it takes up less space. If you have a really long one, it's just gonna go off the bar, and I'll have a dot 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 at the end, which is not very nice. So it's preferred that you have an abbreviated or smaller platform name. So like SNES instead of Super Nintendo Entertainment System, even though I doubt anyone would make a API for that. Contact link. So the way this works is, again, if you go here, they'll have an icon, and the default icon, if you don't specify an icon, which is totally fine, you don't have to, is the NetCheat icon. But anyway, when someone puts their mouse over this, it'll have a pointer finger, and if they click it, it'll take you to the link specified. So for this, I don't need one. But if you have your own website, or you have like a forum that you have the download for, I don't know. I did that for CCAPI and PS3 Mappy by NZV, I think. I just linked it to a next gen update thread so that they know where to download it. But yeah, you can leave this blank. And then this, so the way, if you want to actually have an icon, I don't really want one. But what you would do is you'd you open up properties, and you go to resources, and then you'd click this, and then let me just do it for you. Okay, and then you click add resource, and then you add existing file, and then you just browse to a file and make an image, and it'll add it. And then all you have to do to reference it is you do this dot no, sorry, it's PC and CPI properties dot resources, and then the name of the resource that you have. So if you go to my GitHub, I have uploaded CCAPI's one. You can go on there, and it has an icon, and it's just .ico. but I'll keep it null, which will default it to the NetCheat one. And then so everything else is like normal, except we have to actually do all this. And then I'll explain each one by one. So first off, I've actually done, as I said, I already did everything that you need for new class. I just call this memman. So I've already done everything here, and all this stuff you can just find off the internet, which is what I did. So it's nothing that I really need to talk about. It just has everything I need to get the memory, stop the thread, stuff like that. So set bytes is really simple. Oh, one of the things I do is I always declare, so private mem, like, okay, everything I always declare an instance of the class. Wow. Except I actually put this equal to null. Actually, it doesn't really matter. You can keep it like that. In this case, some it depends on how you set up your API, but since this when the API is initialized, which means like when NetCheat loads it, not when NetCheat chooses it or whatever, when NetCheat actually loads it as NetCheat's loading, this will get loaded, and you don't want the API to actually do anything important. So I think TMAppy, the target manager one, that because I use the source code from PS3 lib, and I credit that to IMCSX. That does some stuff when you initialize it, so it depends on how you set up your API. But in this case, because it doesn't actually, when I initialize it, which you go to here, all it does is set up some variables. It doesn't actually call anything that would affect anything important. So it doesn't matter. That's what I'm trying to say. So get bytes. Get. I think it's read. Yeah. So it's just. So this is pretty simple. You just return true or false if it worked or not. If you don't know whether or not it failed, just return true every time. Um, the issue with this, or with doing that, and that happened with PS3 Mappy, the NZV one, because it didn't have a way to detect if reading failed. It always returned true, which meant the range, when you use range finding, it thinks everything's mapped, um, which is a problem if you care about that. So again, just return true if you don't know. Otherwise, of course, return what it should be. And this one, most of these are, I think it's right memory, yeah. Most of these are pretty simple. Shut down. Okay, now I don't think I did anything with this on the other one, but okay, when someone calls this and you're on your PC, you don't want your PC to shut down. So that's why I put game instead of just platform. So, oh, actually, did I add a shutdown? I might have actually. Hold up. I think, well, cause. All right. Well, I guess for the sake of it, we can go ahead and add this function in. I never did. I don't think I did to the original one. So public void kill process, because that's all you're really doing. Um, process dot get process by ID dot kill. Yeah, and you could add some error catching in there in case it doesn't return a process and it's null. But mem and kill process. Um, Yeah, so that would just close the game down instead of turning off your PC. Okay, this is important, and there's a lot of interesting things to read right there, but pretty much what you need to do, or what you need to understand, is NetCheat has multiple threads running that connect and attach. So nothing happens until the user connects and attaches. But when that after that happens, after the user connects and attaches, um, all the other threads start doing it because it thinks that, oh, now obviously if the user connected and attached, then the platform's ready for that, whatever. um, and that you don't want the you don't want the user to keep being prompted for the IP address or the process to attach to or any of that, because that would be really annoying. So the, let's see. Okay, the way that you do this, well, okay, for the PC, this doesn't matter. You can just return true because you don't need to connect to the PC. But this is more for, again, this is, that's just resetting it, which is important. So it's more for the attaching. So the way this is going to work uh, is process, okay, it's going to check if the process is already attached, which is checked by this. So this would return true. So pretty much is what I'm trying to say is if it gets to this part of the code, um, it's not attached, else is attached. So if it's not attached, you can prompt the user, which is we're gonna make that right now. So we're gonna want to add a form, and we'll just call this attach form. And then we're gonna have a list box, and all this is gonna do is just list all the processes on your PC, and then you can just click on one and click attach. So button 1 will be attach, and 2 will be close. Okay, so first off, you're gonna wanna have one for load. So you just double click the form and it'll have the load. Let's see here, hold up. I'm not really worrying about the naming. So when it calls load, you're gonna want to get all the processes. So I think it's process, alright. Sorry. Let's see. Using system dot. I don't remember what. I think it's diagnosed. Yeah, it's okay. Process equals process dot get all get okay. And then for each process, wow, p and procs, and then you just loop through each one, and we'll add to the list box. So list box 1 dot items dot add, and then p dot name, process name. So that's just gonna list it as soon as it loads. Maybe we should have a refresh button. Alright. Okay, so these, I mean, it makes sense if you've made these before, but pretty much the way this works is, so let's just keep the array, that way we can return the, so int return process ID is equal to -1, and so button 2 I believe is closed, correct? Yeah. So we'll just do equal to -1 close, and then if it's okay, we'll equal it to if box1 dot selected index greater than 0. So, um, mm, uh, Alright, so pretty much if you press OK in the list box, you actually have one selected in the list box, it will take the ID from the process, put it as the return, and then close the form. If you close, it just sets it to -1 and close. And I'm actually, I'm gonna mess with this because, as I said, I already did this before, and there's one thing I really hated was, well, one. Never mind, I'll get to it. So right now we'll just do attach form af equals new attach form af dot show dialog, and show dialog just means that it'll pop up, and um, everything in this form, like everything in fact in this process, will be what's the word for it? It'll be waiting for this to close. So it's kind of like a message box. And then show dialog, and then if af dot return. Oh, I have to make it public, of course. Dot return process ID is greater than 0. Else just return false. So if it's not greater than 0, that means that they close, and that just means the attach failed because they closed for whatever reason. If af dot return, otherwise if they did click on one and accepted it, you just do let's see, mem dot attach, and then af dot return process ID. I think this is a bool, so then you return that. Else, if it is attached, normally, because it's on a separate thread, you just reattach, but I did this before, and that just errored. No, that didn't error. It gave me problems. I think attaching twice. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't understand why, but it caused problems. So you just return true if it's already attached. And then you're probably wondering, like, well, if the user disconnects, wouldn't it just, blah, 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 blah. No. Because if they disconnect, this whole thing gets reset to the default one, which means that the process ID is again 0, and then that means this will go through again. So pause process, and and again, if you don't like CC API, for example, and yeah, if you can't incorporate this, just have it return false. You don't need it. It's just for searching. Well, I mean, you can pause and play the process. That's kind of cool. It's useful, but yeah, it's useful for people if they want to do that. But in terms of the only reason I have this is really just for searching, because it searching when the process is pauses. It's very nice. All right. Lastly is the configure option. This is pretty cool. So this is like now for what I'm doing here, I'm just gonna leave it blank. But it, for instance, with and I even put it as a to do. But if you look at the source code for the NZV PS3 Mappy NetCheat API that I made on my GitHub, uh, there are features in that API that I should be taking advantage of, but because of the generalization of using this sort of format where I only have things that I really need. I don't have all these other things like get temperature, um, notify PS3, stuff like that. Stuff that won't exactly exist for other platforms, and you don't need for them. Things of that sort. Uh, this is where the configure comes in. So obviously you can make this so it actually configures it. But really, what this is it gives you the ability to have a form that makes use of the other API features. So you could do that, but also for let's see, what did I do for CCAPI? All I did was I had it um, open the manager that comes with the CCAPI. If it's it also checks for the process, so if the process is already open, so like if it's already open, it just reopens it. So instead of creating two instances of it, same thing for the target manager. I just have it open, reopen the target manager, and just have it pop up. So like I'd have this pop up, uh, which is useful. It's convenient for certain features that NetCheat kind of pushes away because it just needs the generalization of the API. The only things it needs are what's in here and not the excess stuff. Anyway, um, this should work, I believe. Yeah, this should work. So let's see. The last thing I like to do, and this is just me, and this just has to do with the fact that I'm running from NetCheat, is I just put the build directly in the API folder, so I can just build it and I don't have to copy any files. Um, I don't have to copy any files. So build succeeded. Now I might get duplicate. Oh, we should. Hold up. I think. I think because I already have this API with the same name, that will create problems. Yeah, they created. I think. Let's change the name just because I already have it in existence. Alright, sorry. There's an issue, kind of, but the last thing you should do is you should change this assembly name because this will. Well, it doesn't really matter, I guess, but this is the output of the DLL, the name. So I don't want it to be this. I want it to be PC API. Um, and then if we build. Alright, one last thing that I think I just forgot to add in general to the template, but you have to add this this colon and then this just to denote that this class is oh, I don't know what the word is, but anyway, yeah, you need to add this. That way NetCheat understands that this is actually an API and not just some DLL that you have in the wrong folder. And then this loads. So all you have to do is select it by double clicking, connect, yes, true. Um, let's see here. What was that one thing I wanted to do? So, see if we click. Alright, so let's see, P. It's not a name. It's let's go with that. So P dot ID dot toString. I'll just do x8. Go ahead and add this to the right there. Okay. Oh yeah, the other thing I wanted to do actually. So let's create a list instead. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing, except we have to. I mean, it's not the same thing, but Okay, and then we'll do procs dot sort, and I think it's something like compare. No, it's like this b dot compare. It's a dot id dot compare to b. I don't know. That's been a. Alright. Okay. If you are happy with that, alright, do it for both. Okay. And automatically loads back up. So if we oh, duh. Alright, compared to b.id, of course. And so what that should do is it should order from least to greatest. It might be greatest to least. I don't really remember. Oh, it's least to greatest. All right. So yeah, that's the thing I really hated before was how it looked. How it was always very unorganized and random almost. So yeah, I'm not really gonna demonstrate this in action, but you can just click on some. No, it did attach process. Click on something and then use it. You can search it. So like if I go to range, for instance, maybe not the not the best one to attach to. Who should I attach to? Should attach to NetCheat. Yeah, there you go. And this is, I just made this for a tutorial. I would never use this for the PC. I definitely encourage you to use Cheat Engine if you want to do anything with the PC. The other thing that I forgot to mention, which is actually really important, is... do I not have it? Oh. This is really important. So, because of the whole endianness that I added to NetCheat version 4.50 or 4.50, it needs to know what the platform's default endian is. So for the PS3, you would return false because the PS3 is big endian. However, the PC, it varies between processors, so this is just how you do it for the PC. But again, like it's important that you incorporate that into it. So if we, because I believe my machine is little endian, so you'll see that yeah, it just selects this by default, which is a key thing. So I believe this is all. This is all you need to know to create an API. Remember, this is I think the next update I'll fix this so that the template installer has this. But yeah, for now you just have to add it manually. But yeah, thank you for watching, and have a great day.